Latto just posted her latest hair transformation, and the internet immediately went there, straight to Nicki Minaj. This week, the Atlanta rapper shared an Instagram reel showing off freshly done blonde hair, courtesy of Arrogant Tay. Seems straightforward enough. A celebrity got her hair done. Else is going on. And they're not letting it slide. The reaction isn't about whether Latto's hair looks good. Everyone agrees it does. The reaction is about the person who did it, the artist he's historically worked with, and the beef history between those two artists. And it's revealing something interesting about how these business relationships and personal tensions don't always stay in separate lanes. This is suddenly news because Arrogant Tay isn't just some random stylist. He's publicly known as Nicki Minaj Hairstylist, and Nicki and Latto have history, not the friendly kind. Years ago, they traded insults publicly. The tension has simmered, so when Latto slides into Tay's chair in 2026, fans see it as a calculated move, a statement, or at minimum, a messy mixing of professional and personal territory that everyone involved should have navigated more carefully. Earlier this week, Latto posted an Instagram reel. In it, she's showing off her hair, long, blonde, freshly laid. The caption tagged Arrogant Tay, giving him the credit and the visibility. Tay reposted the moment on his own Instagram stories, sharing photos of Latto and the finished look. But that's where the straightforward part ends. In the Shade Room's Instagram comments, where the actual temperature of a story gets taken, fans immediately started bringing up Nicki. Not randomly. Not out of nowhere. They were connecting dots that were already visible in the timeline. One commenter wrote, "You should be able to separate business from personal, and personally, real friends or whatever wouldn't get in the way of your bag. Igik." Another went harder, but threw a tantrum when Nicki got her hair done by Jonathan at arrogant_Tay 123. A third comment echoed this tension. Ironic cause when Nicki let Jonathan do her hair. Tay was ready to fall out about it. The subtext here is important. Fans aren't just noting that Latto is using Nicki's stylist. They're pointing out what they perceive as hypocrisy. According to the comments, when Nicki previously had another stylist, Jonathan, do her hair instead of Tay, Tay apparently expressed upset or frustration about it. But now, here's Tay styling Latto, someone who has had public friction with Nicki. So fans are asking, where's the consistency? If Tay had an issue with Nicki stepping out on him, why is he perfectly fine stepping out on his loyalty to Nicki by working with an artist who's been critical of her? Some fans framed it as messiness. Some framed it as business over loyalty. One comment joked, "Latto sitting in Tay chair, so when the last time you talked to Shawty," suggesting that Latto might be getting the inside scoop on Nicki drama while in the chair. Another defended the situation. "Honestly, I knew the girls all wanted to work with Nicki stylist. They always in Nicki knockos. Latto been a fan. Lol, he ate too. Latto been lad. Lol." Meaning that many artists respect Tay's work and want to work with him, so it's natural that Latto would book him. There's also a layer here about Latto's history with Nicki. The two haven't just ignored each other over the years. They've directly exchanged words. Fans remember this, whether it's intentional shade, career ambition, or simply booking the best stylist available, gets interpreted differently depending on who's reading it. This story is gaining traction because it sits at the intersection of three things fans actually care about: the quality of Latto's look, the tension between Latto and Nicki, and the question of what loyalty means in the entertainment industry. First, there's the stylist's reputation. Arrogant Tay isn't famous because he's mediocre. He's famous because his work is respected and because he's been associated with one of the biggest artists in the world. When Nicki's hairstylist does someone else's hair, that's notable. It's like booking a Michelin-starred chef for your dinner party, when everyone knows he usually cooks for another celebrity. It signals something about access, about influence, about who can pull what strings. Second, there's the Nicki-Latto dynamic. This isn't a feud that happened once and everyone moved on. Fans have long memories about these things, and they track who works with whom. If you've had public tension with an artist, booking her personal stylist becomes a statement whether you intend it to be or not. It's either a power move, it's tone deaf, or it's genuinely just about getting good hair. Fans debate which one it is. Third, there's the question of industry, loyalty, and boundaries. Ty presumably makes money from Nicki and from Latto, but his reputation is built on being Nicki's guy. So when he does Latto's hair, is he diluting his brand? Is he betraying a loyalty? Or is he just doing his job as a professional? These questions matter to fans because they care about the ecosystem of these relationships. If everyone's just booking whoever, whenever, then what does any relationship or partnership mean? The story also gained traction because Latto and Nicki had a moment earlier this year that reminded everyone of their tension. In June, Latto did an Essence magazine cover shoot where she appeared with minimal makeup and her natural hair. Fans immediately said this was Nicki's influence, that Nicki had told Latto to stop with the heavy makeup and wigs. And Latto listened. Those comments praised Nicki's advice and suggested Latto had learned from her. So there's this strange dynamic where Latto, simultaneously seen as someone influenced by Nicki, advised by Nicki, allegedly, and also someone who's had conflict with Nicki. That complicated relationship is exactly why fans pay attention when Latto does something that touches Nicki's orbit. The reaction broke into a few distinct camps. The "this is messy" crowd. These are the fans treating this like drama. They're amused by what they see as an ironic or contradictory situation. One commenter simply wrote, "This so messy," capturing the vibe that there's something delicious about the crossed wires here. Allegedly, being upset about Nicki using another stylist to now doing Latto's hair, while Latto has had tension with Nicki. To them, it's the sort of thing that makes you wonder what conversations happen behind the scenes. The "it's just business" crowd. These fans argued that separating personal beef from professional work is actually the mature move. If Tay is a talented stylist, he should be able to style whoever books him. If Latto wants good hair, she should be able to hire the best stylist available. One commenter defended this view directly. You should be able to separate business from personal, and, personally, real friends or whatever wouldn't get in the way of your bag. This framing suggests that holding grudges and preventing people from getting professional services is petty and counterproductive. The "that's hypocritical" crowd. These fans pointed directly at Tay, saying his behavior is inconsistent. If he had a problem with Nicki using Jonathan, he shouldn't be fine with working for Latto. One comment stated it plainly, but threw a tantrum when Nicki got her hair done by Jonathan. This camp sees Tay as applying different standards, depending on who's involved, and they're calling it out. The "this makes sense" crowd. Some fans rationalized it differently, arguing that Tay's work is in demand because it's excellent, and artists naturally want to book the stylist they admire and respect. One commenter wrote, "Honestly, I knew the girls all wanted to work with Nicki's stylist. They always in Nicki Nakos. Latto been a fan, lol. He ate too." This perspective frames it as artists respecting talent, not as betrayal or messiness. The joking crowd. Some fans just made jokes about what might be happening. Latto sitting in Ty chair. So when the last time you talked to Shawty is the kind of comment that's funny, because it imagines Latto asking Ty for the inside information while she's getting her hair done. Question crowd. Some fans just asked directly, did Nicki approve? They weren't taking a stance. They were curious whether Nicki had signed off on this, whether she cared, or whether she was aware. That question itself reveals how much fans view these relationships as interconnected and how much they expect communication or acknowledgement between the parties involved. The Nicki-Latto tension didn't start yesterday. A few years back, the two artists traded criticism publicly. The conflict wasn't career-ending or even permanently relationship-destroying, but it was real and it was witnessed. Fans don't forget these moments. More recently, in June 2026, Latto released her Essence magazine cover photos. In the shoot, she appeared without heavy makeup and without wigs. Her natural hair, her natural face. The images sparked immediate conversation, and fans connected this shift to Nicki. Multiple comments said things like, "She took Nicki advice and never looked back," and "Nicki gave her the best advice she ain't had on heavy makeup or wigs since." Whether or not there was actual direct communication between them, the public perception became that Nicki's influence, Nicki's public criticism about heavy makeup and wigs, had changed how Latto presented herself. This context matters because it shows that Latto hasn't been static in relation to Nicki. She's been responding, evolving, and incorporating what perceive as Nicki's advice. So when Latto then books Nicki's literal personal stylist, it reads as the next step in a complicated relationship where Latto is moving closer to Nicki's orbit, adopting her values, using her resources. The other context is Arrogant Tay's history with Nicki. He's not just a stylist who works with Nicki sometimes. He's known as her dedicated stylist, the person who does her iconic looks. That's brand territory. He's publicly associated with Nicki's image. So when he does someone else's hair, especially someone with Nicki tensions, it's a statement about his availability and his willingness to work across these boundaries. What's confirmed? Latto got her hair done by Arrogant Tay. She posted it. Tay reposted it. Fans connected this to Nicki because Tay is publicly known as Nicki's stylist. What's reported but not confirmed? The idea that Tay had a negative reaction when Nicki used Jonathan is mentioned in comments but not directly verified in the article. Fans are recounting it as known, but we don't have a primary source for exactly how upset Tay was or what he said. What's disputed or unclear? Whether Latto booking Tay is intentionally provocative, just practical, or somewhere in between. Whether Nicki knows about it or cares. Whether there was any conversation between Tay and Nicki about him taking on Latto as a client. Whether the Essence magazine advice everyone attributed to Nicki was actually from Nicki, or just fans interpreting Latto's transformation that way. What remains a question. Does this booking change the relationship between Latto and Nicki in any way? Is Latto moving closer to Nicki's circle, or moving further away? Is Tay making a choice, or is he just running a business? How much of this matters versus how much of it is fan projection?